Brian, where are you?
He didn't show up.
He's right there.
No,
Which Brian?
Brian.
Campbell?
No, this Brian. Yeah, we're missing you.
No, Elena has taken over my responsibilities.
I don't think so. She's done an amazing job though, so thank you very much. Look at her. We are up live and in person. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to our December 1st Frenchtown Smurfit-Stone Community Advisory Group. I am Jerry Dellis, part of the admin team, and
Bruce Sims, also part of the admin team, and Barbara Sims.
I'm not on the screen.
she's over here.
Sometimes known as Bunny.
Taking notes.
And Elena's here. And then Jonathan Carlin, who is our District 96 representative, is here joining us. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to start from the top of the screen. And if you would just introduce yourself, that would be helpful. Vic, let's start with you. You're on mute, Vicki, if you're talking.
Hi, Vicki Watson, University of Montana.
Hi, Vicki. Brian?
Hi, Brian Barkoyak with Natural Resource Damage Program.
Good to see you. Carolina?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear your puppies.
Okay, I am at an airport in Denver, so I'm sorry, but I'm Carolina Ballou with Montana DEQ, and I'm the Federal Superfund Section Supervisor.
Great. Hot round? Scott? You're muted? Okay, we'll skip Scott and go to Carlin.
Hi, everybody. I'm Carlin. I'm with Newfields, taking notes for the PR piece.
Great. Will?
Hi, my name is William George. I'm with Montana Department of Environmental Quality. I am the project manager representing the state.
Great. Welcome. Dave, we missed you up there.
Hi, I'm David Schmetterling with Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Park.
Great. Trevor?
Yeah, Trevor Selch, fisheries pollution biologist with Fish, Wildlife, and Parks out of Helena.
Great. Allie?
Hey everyone, my name is Allie Archer. I'm the remedial project manager for the site for EPA, and I am out of Helena.
And Rafe is MCAT computer. It says in the chat. Not Ramses? Oh, okay, great.
Oh,
MCAT is here. Okay, sweet. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start the meeting. I'd like to read our mission statement. To serve as a trusted liaison between the community, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Montana Department of Environmental Quality by becoming informed, sharing this information with the public, and engaging in the Superfund process to ensure the restoration of the former Smurfit-Stone mill site to a healthy ecological state for future generations. So if everybody could take a peek and just review the November 3rd minutes. If anybody sees anything that we've missed, please comment. Okay, so we will start off with Elena, who's going to present highlights of the November 15th Smurfit-Stone tour. Wonderful. Well, I was pleased that Bruce put some of the pictures that he took in the minutes, because those were the photos that we had as my phone was taken up on the Teams meeting that was playing in every vehicle. We were considerably lucky to have Larry Weeks join the tour and bring his bounty of knowledge to the table and answer a round of questions that were then broadcast through the 3 other vehicles. Despite the snow on November 15th, there were 30 people and 4 vehicles, 2 large vans and 2 other vehicles that were filled with folks who were able to ask a broad array of questions. It was a great opportunity and one that people have been looking for a long time. And I think it answered the broad array of questions that people had, as well as provided an appropriate scale for the site. I mean, when you're thinking that many acres, it's really hard to fathom when you think about a pond being this size or a dump being this large, or what we're really talking about when we talk about the berm. Even the pictures don't really do it justice. So I think folks were very interested to be there, and there was ongoing interest about having a tour in the spring when maybe more of the site could be seen. Perhaps the soils could be viewed instead of seeing mostly snow, but that didn't necessarily detract from that as an opportunity. And I think it really invigorated a lot of people's interest and questions about the site. I know since the tour, I've forwarded on a number of documents to folks and have also fielded more emails and questions about future tours. So we look forward to that. I'm happy to aid with those moving forward. And I did distribute to the list of folks who participated the handouts that I provided. And that was the source of a lot of the questions that, followed up on that event. It was also great. A number of folks from the Forest Service joined us and had some good questions. Some film students and reporters also joined us and had some other questions as well. So it was a diverse group of folks interested in the site, and I think there was a lot of conversations that were brought up as well. That's kind of a broad overview. So Bruce, Bunny, anyone online? I'm not sure.
No, I would just add that it was a very positive afternoon. I think a lot of good discussions, both in front of everyone and just in our various vehicles. And I really applaud everybody that came. I think it was really meaningful. You want to try to play that audio that was forwarded?
All right, bear with me. I'm not Brian Barkowiak, right? You're doing great.
So does that mean it's going to work?
Oh, Jody.
Yeah.
Science rules.
Community members and conservation groups recently toured a former paper mill because of urgent concerns that the site poses a threat to a nearby Montana river. The Smurfit-Stone mill near Missoula operated from 1957 to 2010, leaving behind pollutants that continue to leak into the nearby Clark Fork River. In 2020, the state expanded a fish consumption advisory to a 100-mile stretch on the river. Elena Evans with the Missoula City County Health Department was part of last week's tour. He says berms separate industrial waste from the Clark Fork over a 4-mile stretch. They cover 380 acres of the river's floodplain.
The berms cause concern for folks downstream, leaving unlined dumps and landfills and sludge ponds are impacting our EPA designated sole source aquifer. And so that's why we had a tour.
Evans says the site also is an issue for Missoula's drinking water. She hopes that by voicing their concerns during the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's investigation phase of the Superfund site, officials will incorporate the outcomes the community is looking for, such as restoring the Clark Fork floodplain. In 2018, higher than average spring runoff caused part of the berms to erode and release toxic waste into the river. Julie Crocker with the Clark Fork Coalition was part of last week's tour. She says there is anxiety over what an even larger event could do to the waste stored behind those berms.
As we've seen these large floods happen more and more frequently due to the changing climate, there's a possibility that if we were to have the episode that happened on Yellowstone here, all of that would get pushed into the Clark Fork.
David Brooks is head of Montana Trout Unlimited and was on last week's tour as well. His organization is part of a study that will start in 2023 and look at fish and water quality near the former mill to determine the scope and scale of contaminants on the river. Brooks says this is a critical issue for Montanans.
People recreate in the river, people eat fish out of the river, and so even absent a catastrophic event, this is a long-term concern for water quality, fish, and people.
The effect of toxins in the area also is a concern for the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribe, whose ancestral land lies within the 100-mile fish consumption advisory area. Tribal members rely on subsistence fishing and have been leading efforts for a proper cleanup of the former mill site. I'm Eric Tegedoff reporting. Find our 8 trust indicators to support transparency and accuracy at publicnewsservice.org.
live. We just can't see them because I can't get it up.
Here he is. Maybe it's a black square up in the top corner.
Yay.
There we go. Okay, great. Good information, thank you. Then we have Allie. How are you? Looking forward to hearing your site update.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get my video on Zoom for some reason. Sorry about that. It's always just a black screen. So I talked to Bruce. I know that you the CAG has requested a little more detail on the site assessment, preliminary assessment site investigation that EPA conducted and how the historical use of the mill and employee interviews are taken into account. And so I reached out to the site assessment team because the person who was a part of those is still with EPA. He's just in a different area. And they are able to come in February. So I know we were trying to get him to December, but if that works, I have someone available for the February meeting. And so we will plan to attend and provide that if that's still something you guys are looking forward to. And then as far as the site update, we are still reviewing the recommendations for additional sampling. That was a part of one of the handouts that Elena provided at the tour. I did meet with the EPA, larger EPA team, including some of the upper management folks this week, and kind of looked at schedules. I know this is a priority for Casey, the regional administrator, but I don't know that we are able to get a meeting set for December. So I just wanted to let Elena, the larger CAG and stakeholders who contributed to that know that it might be in January when we're finally able to sit down with Casey and talk through the recommendations that were provided. So I wanted to provide that update that we're getting through it. It's a lot of good information, but briefing everyone and looking at everyone's calendars, it gets really busy around the holidays. So just giving that heads up. That's kind of where we're at.
We'll count on you for the February meeting. We've made an executive decision here that we're going to go ahead and cancel the January 5th meeting.
Oh, okay.
So we'll.
I'm out of town for that one, but Dana is not on tonight. He said he could attend if you guys had it, but that sounds good. I can let him know.
Oh, so no, Allie, we're canceling the January meeting.
Oh, okay.
We're going to just give everybody a well-needed little break. Okay, so anything else on the site, Allie?
No, I think that covers it. I think with the winter setting in and the getting those recommendations for additional sampling, we're really focusing on reviewing and seeing where we can provide some feedback and working with the upper management folks to get their schedules because they really want to be involved with the CAG and the county on addressing those.
Okay. Allie, is there any chance that you could send us an updated kind of where we're at on the worm? That would be great.
Yes, I can definitely get that to the CAG admin team. We are still in the remedial investigation. Part of that discussion in August with Casey was that EPA committed to looking at these recommendations for additional sampling that Elena has provided or compiled that you all have contributed to. So we're still in that larger remedial investigation box.
Okay.
And determining if we're going to be getting additional samples before we finish the RI report, or if we're going to do the RI report, meet with folks on where there are data gaps and address it at that time. So it's going to happen at some point, but we're still in that RI phase.
Do you have any kind of guesstimate on timing?
I know that they really wanted to meet December, and so we had like a very earnest conversation about schedules, and that's where they can commit to January, I'm sure, for meeting with everyone. And we were trying for December, and then just looking at calendars, and some folks have the ability to go on leave early and spend time with families, and so I think January, I am pretty positive we can commit to that because we were really close to trying to make it in December.
Okay, well, I'll pull the stakeholder group here. I'll pull Jerry and Bruce and the folks who we want at the table and give our availability because that may help. Does that sound okay to you, Allie?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I think that we were going to be trying to share dates with everyone, but if you want to let us know who you want at the table at that meeting, I don't know if it'd be like a larger stakeholder, everyone invited, or if you had a set group, then definitely provide us that set group. And if you are able to get schedules, that would definitely help us hone in on some times.
Well, and actually, I'm sure you guys probably have more limits or sideboards on the number of people you're providing. So if you want to just give me a list of who you're bringing to the table, I'll make sure that representatives from our crew are there as well, because it is the larger stakeholders sampling request. Do we want to keep our January meeting then? Or no?
I think everybody's gonna be gone.
Okay, all right.
I did have one other thing.
Yeah. Sure. So I did have one other thing that I wanted to make this group aware of, and it's something that I think if folks were more interested in hearing more about, we could invite the Conservation District to the table. They're a key party when it comes to streams and rivers and, the Natural Streambed Preservation Act, but they wrote a letter that I can also distribute to this group if they like, that essentially outlines what the 310 law was and when it was enacted, and they did approve a number of permits for armoring the berms at Smurfit, as it was a beneficial use at that time, and those were installed prior to that law. But they put forward a letter essentially saying that riprap of stream banks is no longer preferred, or in most cases an acceptable practice, dictating that unstable berms are retained as part of an EPA Superfund remedy is not acceptable within our jurisdiction. The berms may be maintained while different remedies are debated, and the site continues through the Superfund process. The final remedy in the record of decision, however, cannot include the maintenance and upkeep of the berm in perpetuity. Signed, the Conservation District. So I think that's just kind of, a local permitting entity that operates under state law, discussing what they'd like to see in the final remedy, which is something that is new despite not necessarily playing into the current part of the snake. But I think something like that might be incorporated into the remedial investigation document. You mean the worm? Oh, you said well, yeah. Well, it only goes one way. A worm, you can cut it in half.
Yeah, and I think like that type of letter is typically when we solicit comments in that formal public comment period when a proposed plan is issued. So that's great to have now, but it's definitely not like what we're not looking at different remedies because we're still characterizing the site. So it's a good to have, but would be a formal document that we would look at when submitted as a comment during that time. So there is a place for it, and we're happy to get it now, but we're not contemplating remedies. We're in the characterization. So
Allie, back up to say here, when would that letter be appropriate to bring into public comment?
Well, I think that I think it's great to vocalize now with this group that would be a goal. They don't want that to be a final remedy, which is something that's not news to us. I think that's very widely known, but there is a formal public comment process, and that's when EPA issues the proposed plan. So when we look at the snake, I can put an arrow there and point to it for you, but it's the remedial investigation feasibility study where we investigate different types of remedies. EPA issues a formal document called a proposed plan where we go through all of the remedies we contemplated, and then we end with here's our recommended remedy. And then we have a public meeting and we ask for public comments on that, and all that's a part of the record then is looking at everyone's feedback on the proposed remedy. And we take that into account for our final record of decision, which is where we actually set the remedy.
Okay.
But yeah, I can send the worm, and that's a little ways down the road, probably a couple years out, but yeah, so we'll be talking about it a lot, and there's no way that will be a surprise or you won't be ready to issue formal public comments, and there will be a lot of meetings leading up to that where we even scope the potential remedies, so
okay,
it won't be a surprise when it comes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, we are just rolling through this. So the CAG admin team and a few others, we chatted about this. We would like to have a late spring CAG tour and picnic. I did talk to Steve Malsom about this, and he was on board. He just said, sure, be great. The gathering is really well intentioned, well thought out, planned, and executed. We envision having tour handouts with tour stops and the history associated with the stops planned in advance. We'd like to offer a lunch or social at the event. We want to invite all stakeholders, elected officials, EPA, et cetera. We just really felt strongly that this would give Wakefield Kennedy an opportunity to meet the community and essentially extend the olive branch. We also feel this would be an event that shows the collaborative effort of the different groups since the CAG began meeting in March of 2017. So we'll be putting that together, and I think it's going to be a really good thing. I think it, I get I live out here, so I get a lot of people asking me what's going on, what are those businesses, who's this, who's that, and I think this really helps the CAG connect with the community, and I think it also helps stakeholders connect with the community, and I think that's really important because I feel like we're at a stage where, our mission statement is to inform and educate, and I feel like we really need to be well intentioned on keeping people up to date on that. So that's coming up, and we're pretty excited about it.
Jerry, do you have dates in mind for?
Right now, Allie, we were thinking late spring where people can actually, see the ground, be where it's warm, not be traveling through snow and whatever. And Steve was in agreement with that as well. We don't have a date yet. I think we were kind of like a Mayish date kind of a thing.
I think you let me know what different stops are going to be incorporated, but I, for a long time, been wanting to get my EPA team out of Denver back out, the risk assessors, the technical assistance folks, even our legal attorney. And so if that's something that we want to bring, I'd love to get a heads up and coordinate some travel. And I think some of the management folks would also like to attend. So
we would really appreciate that. And I just think that it really would go a long way for people to just kind of get a who's who. And I think that this is a really great way to do that. We haven't been able to do that because of COVID. Our meetings have been Zoom. So a lot of the community, we haven't been, well, the Zoom link's been wrong, but anyway, this will really be a great opportunity to have a nice gathering. And what kind of lead time do you need for your people?
No, I think if we set a date, whatever we're able to, as much as you can, but I know people are really motivated to get out. So I just wanted to let you know if you have a date, let me know as soon as possible. But I know people are motivated, so I'm sure they can get travels most likely with a shorter notice.
Great.
Hey, Jerry, this is Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Hi. After Casey's visit in August, our program offered to organize a bigger trustee meeting with Fish Wildlife Service, FWP, the Forest Service, Department of Interior. I can't remember if anybody else was there. Oh, most importantly, the tribes with Casey Becker. And so we had that meeting a few weeks ago, and one of the outcomes of that meeting was Casey said she wanted to come back out to Montana in the springtime. They were talking like March, April timeframe, specifically to meet with the tribes. So I will check in with John from CSKT, and he was going to try to get some dates together. And it's sounding like it's all in about the same time frame as you're thinking about this this event. So maybe we can make things work so they all work together.
That's a great idea. And I think we just need to communicate and just kind of weave everybody in, and we'll get something figured out. I think I'm really excited about it. And I think it's going to be a really good event. And Steve even said, well, will provide lunch. I mean, he was really gracious about it. So I think that they're really on board, and we'll just plan for that. So when you kind of hear back and forth, let's just start throwing dates out and make sure that that's a date that works for a whole bunch of people. Nice. So I think that's it. So we're not going to meet January 5th. I don't have a February. Does anybody have a 2023 February calendar handy?
Well, in addition to Allie having the first site assessor come out, February is
It would be February 2nd, Jerry.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll meet there, and then the site assessor, Allie, will wait to hear on that one then?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Well, I think that's all we have. Oh, wait a second.
Yeah, Peter Nielsen contacted me, and he would like to have a topic discussed on PCV sampling, what's been done and what might still need to be done. And I don't know whether that would be an appropriate topic for February, but if everybody's okay with that, I think it is a pertinent topic considering the seriousness of that contaminant, that particular contaminant.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about that for a long time because it's definitely something we've worked with Missoula County on and need to get back to them with. And I think March, Bruce, would be a better time frame just with the site assessor coming in February. So if you want EPA and DQ to address PCV sampling in the Superfund realm, then we would be available. I think at the soonest would be March.
so yeah. Peter is a retired Missoula County employee who's very knowledgeable on PCBs. So I think Bruce is welcome to communicate with him how he sees fit. And if people are interested in that presentation on PCBs that Todd Stibe in our office provided regarding co-planar PCBs and their structure, it was really a great introduction to the chemistry behind a lot of this. That's something that I'm happy to volunteer Todd for at any point in time, or if anyone is interested, he can give that, pretty much off the cuff. Oh, there's Larry. I think we need to...
So, anything else? Oh, hi, Larry. We'll try to get you in.
How are you?
Oh, he can hear us. Hang on just a second. Okay.
Hi, Larry.
Hi, Jill.
How are you?
I've had a tough day today. That's why I got in a little late. I got bit by a dog when I was hiking in Missoula this afternoon.
You got bit by a what?
Dog.
A wasp?
Black lamb came up and I thought he was a friendly guy, and all of a sudden he bit me in the leg.
Well, that doesn't sound like fun.
Oh.
You gotta get your left jab going there.
It happened before I even realized what was going to happen.
I'm sorry. I hope you're okay.
Well, but supposedly the dog has all the shots, so I think I'm okay. I called animal control, and so they've got a dog officer on the street right now.
Darn it. Well, that isn't good. Okay.
Nobody wants rabies shots.
No, I've had to do that. All right. Are we good then?
I think so.
Okay. Well, on behalf of the CAG admin team, would love to wish everyone just the merriest, happiest holidays. And thank you for all you do. And thank you for your engagement and involvement. It's wonderful to work with everyone. And we look forward to grouping up here in January at some point, sounds like. Or February, sorry. February 2nd, 2023. But if you have dates, Brian, that kind of pop in with picnic-ish ideas, holler. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. See you later.